message for my people.
Nick Dad, baby. Read a new label.
Yeah. Now this the black sheep, sticking it to him. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it.
In hand, just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. You see, they told me I'm the one that's gonna benefit. Never been a threat. Talking out of line, but never let me interject.
A lot of nice things to be walking by, bro.
Yeah. Opportunities, betting opportunities,
Great girl opportunities.
great girl opportunities, business people. Yeah. But you give me the responsibility of being in the hardest seat in this studio,
Oh, yeah.
which is, George, don't look at all the fine pieces of ass that walk past the window, right? And that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's kind of torture. I actually do a nice little stealth mission where I look at the reflection off the glass over there. So Antoine in the control room thinks I'm looking at him, but I'm not.
Damn, Antoine, I bet he's looked at you in your eyes sometimes and you're
Locked eyes on Antoine, but it's not
like,
Antoine I'm
Nick's
looking
in love
at.
with me this episode.
I owe him dinner. That's what Antoine is saying. Shout out to everybody for supporting the show over the last couple of weeks, last couple of months. Another monster February for us. And excited for what's going to happen in the off season. You guys know we like to get a little funky, get a little creative, talk about a lot of different things, and have a lot of different people on that normally wouldn't be on during the football season where we are our busiest. But to everyone listening, it's at Veterans Minimum to support this show wherever. TikTok, we're over 1,000 now. Shout out to Taylor Swift.
Let's go.
Hey, we are a
Taylor
pro.
Swift did it.
Yeah, Taylor did it, man. Shout out to Taylor Swift. My first, we're at 1.4 million views now on the Taylor Swift video.
Dude,
We're Swifties, man.
It was so smart of you to pivot like that. People, like, the other day, I was at at Cameron's parents' house, and they were talking, his girl was talking about how Taylor Swift, where the fuck was I going with this?
Come on, you got me excited, bro. We just said we were
Dave Portnoy. Portnoy, he was brought up, and she was like, why is Dave Portnoy such a big Taylor Swift fan? I was like, because he knows how to get the views.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey.
He's not stupid.
Yo, you know what's crazy? I told Josh.
Yep.
I was like, yo, everyone's bitching at the NFL. Don't even think about the NFL. Look at us. Way lesser scale. The best thumbnails, the best videos, the best hashtags all had a Taylor Swift reference in it.
Right.
It works, bro. She's a hot commodity. It's a crazy fan base that she has.
Yeah.
And 3 days later, the video goes fucking crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
So
you
shout out
constructed
Taylor.
it so perfectly,
yeah.
dude.
But-
you were
but, yo,
you
you
were
know
a
what?
wizard with the words.
But I'll say
my
this before
friend.
we get into a topic that I'm very, very passionate about and I definitely want to discuss.
Okay.
I meant all of that stuff. I didn't just say that to capitalize. It's a wild pet peeve of mine that I have that people donate money to things and you have the nerve and the audacity to say it's not enough because your net worth is X.
Yeah.
Like that's corny,
It's
bro.
loser talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
just some whack shit. Don't do whack shit.
it's the people that always take in this world. That's why, bro, I have a negative. This is going to be a wild take.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest fan of giving money to homeless people.
Oh,
I know.
I like giving them food.
I agreed. Okay. I'm not saying
my dad.
there's giving and then there's what some people do and there's begging.
Mm,
In order to earn a living in this life, you need to provide value to other people.
I agree.
And if the only value you're providing me is by holding up a sign to make me feel bad, as opposed to actually like putting your best foot forward to get work, I don't know.
Dude,
I dealt with this a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I taught special ed, so I know
my
detail how this happens.
My customers in the city have seen it. Well, my dad for years now. My dad's been there like 30 years. 49th and Park Avenue. If you guys are ever there,
Boom.
Go and get some breakfast. Use promo code VM. It's not a promo code, but just say you listen to the show. You'll get a nice bacon, egg, and cheese on the house. Who knows? But on a serious note, we have a lot of homeless people that, dude, there's some homeless people that I know for like 20 years. Legit.
Mhm.
And they come to us and we always give them food. We tell, and even the ones that we don't know, we'll tell them like, yo, look, we'll give you a coffee right now, no problem. We can't give you none of the food because our food is like, we don't have no backup food. Everything you see in the display is what we got.
Right.
But come here at 10 o'clock, we leave at 10:30. Bro, take everything. Every Friday to this day, my dad gets the boxes of donuts that get delivered.
Mhm.
He puts all the stuff back in there. And there's a homeless shelter lady that comes to the coffee truck at 11:15 every Friday. My dad waits until 11 for her to come, and she takes all the fresh food from that day.
Right.
Because we throw everything out. We never use the same stuff the next day.
Correct.
So,
Which is what it's supposed to be
Right.
used for.
and we tell a lot of homeless people in New York
Mhm.
City, we're like, hey man, take a coffee now, no problem. Come back after 10 o'clock. We'll even make you eggs. Like, no problem. We just can't do it now.
Mhm.
Some of them are like, fuck your sandwich. We're like, okay, well, now we got to deal with you. Right?
Yep.
It's never good enough. Another
Yep.
thing I said in the Taylor video.
Mhm.
And other people are like, all right, cool, man. I'll be back. Sometimes they come back. Sometimes they don't. But I kind of agree with you.
Yes. Because there's just people in this world that are take. And those are the same people in the comments saying that that's not enough money. You know what I mean? It's like nothing's ever going to satisfy you, but you're going to continue to beg for things in your life. And I just don't like that ideology. I think every human being is capable of adding value to another human's life. And that's worth compensation.
You know what else is on the list of like worst people out there? Staying on the topic of taking, or if you're giving, when you've given someone like 20 straight times, but the one time you're like, yo, I can't, whatever it might be. And then they turn that into, man, George never look out for me. Those people, bro, go.
Stay away from me.
Get out.
Ooh.
Get out, bro.
Yeah.
Like the movie, Get Out. Just stay away from me. Those kind of people I can't trust. I don't like being around. I feel like, damn, bro. Like, dude, I had a friend of mine, not going to mention any names, but I'm going to definitely clip this because I want them to see it. But another thing, staying kind of with this topic, and then we'll get into what we want to discuss. I had a friend of mine that came to visit Vegas, and he stayed with me, chilled the whole time. Bro, I paid for everything. Self-awareness is probably my biggest pet peeve in people.
Mm-hmm.
Stayed with me for a couple of days, paid for everything. The last day he's here, we go out and we get like a barbecue spot. He pays and then he goes, yo, Venmo me $30. Mind you, I paid for everything
Leading up to that
up
point.
to that. And like, yo, I don't know if it's being cheap. I wasn't raised that way.
Yeah.
But like the lack of self-awareness kind of turned me off from that person. And it turns me off from people all the time, bro. Because like, look, dude, you and I have done this. Like we went out to eat and I paid the one time, then you paid. And then there was another time where like, I don't know, I think we just paid for each other's food like individually. But yo, if us two go to eat and I so happen to get 9 shots of Casamigos also, I'm not going to be
That's
like,
a problem.
no, I'm not going to, yeah, it's going to be a problem. I'm not going to
Yeah.
be able to get home, but I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, George, let's split the bill. You're like, hey man, no, I wouldn't do that to people.
Right.
But if it's like your stuff was $28 more than mine, I'm not going to be like, oh, here's the exact, like that to me drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Like when I go out with people and we have
Is
like
money
group,
I guess.
yo, look,
I don't
man,
know. I worked my ass off to get to a position where I don't necessarily have to worry about like the nickels and dimes about every little situation. So if you're not at that place and you're like steady detail keeping tabs because you need it.
You want to hear the craziest part about all this? He's actually really, really well off, which drives me even crazy.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I used to have look, I'm not
Hmm.
balling out of control, but I'm in a pretty comfortable place now. But dude, I used to have no money and still would be very giving with it.
Mm-hmm. Because it's just it part of and tying into like the homelessness. It feels good.
Yeah.
So for me,
it's like
if I
fulfilling.
want to feel fulfilled,
Right.
I don't mind giving you something because I do that to people that I love anyways, right? with a random stranger on the side of the street. I don't know, sometimes maybe not. But if you add value to my life, I'm willing to provide for you.
I feel that, bro.
That's deep.
I feel that.
What a intellectual conversation before
intellectual conversation. Also, this is look, man.
Deep.
This is crazy. And if you listen to not listen, but if you watch the thumbnail or the title of this, ESPN put out a list of the most difficult sports to play. I'm going to read you sort of the breakdown and the panel of experts that were put together to come up with this list. And I put together my top 10. I know you have also, but I also want to discuss where a couple of the sports are.
Mm-hmm.
So they identified 10 categories or skills that go into athleticism. And then they have 8 panelists that assign a number from 1 to 10 that demands each sport makes of each of those 10 skills.
Mm-hmm.
And then they total it 1 to 100. The panel that took place was made up of sports scientists from the United States Olympic Committee, academics who study the science of muscles and movement, of a 2-sport athlete, and of journalists who spent their entire professional lives watching athletes succeed and fail. This is the write-up per ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
The sports are from boxing to gymnastics to tennis to water polo, skiing, figure skating, cycling, squash. Obviously, your team sports as well.
Rodeo stuff.
Rodeo, calf roping, which what the fuck is that? I don't even know.
Hey,
what
they
that
added
is.
cheerleading to the list.
And fishing. And the keys are endurance, strength, power, speed, agility, flexibility, nerve, durability, hand-eye coordination, and analytic aptitude.
Yeah.
Which the example that they use here is Joe Montana reading a defense, a basketball point guard on a fast break. So it's kind of like,
your sport IQ.
Yeah.
Do you need a high level of IQ to perform extremely well?
Yeah.
Some of these you don't.
Yeah.
You know?
So the top 10.
Oh man, this is crazy.
The top 10 is boxing is number 1, followed by hockey, football, basketball, wrestling. That's your top 5. Then you have martial arts, tennis, gymnastics, baseball, softball, soccer, top 10. Before we go into our deep dive, your initial thoughts when you saw this list?
My initial thoughts were I need to know who is in this panel making this decision. So
how many people have shot a double leg?
Bro, I'm telling you right now,
in a 3-point stance.
Let me tell you right now
for that one.
that, okay, the 1-2 sport athlete they're referring to is Brian Jordan, who played 12 seasons in the majors and he played 3 seasons in the NFL. So he's an athlete that, like, if you did not play, it's tough for me to validate your opinion because you are looking at it from more of like a science perspective, which I don't know how accurately you can judge somebody from just the sports science because things can be crazy. So I went through the list and there's a good deal of people that are just like PhD type people that
nerds, bro. You could say it. Nerds.
That studied. Well, okay, here's the thing. I don't want to call them nerds because they got a doctorate in sports. That's badass.
That is pretty badass. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they got a
Dr. George Carmona in what? In sports. That's pretty cool.
that's pretty sick. You know what I mean? But
MD on the license plate.
But the fact that like you're going to create a list telling us what the most difficult sports are and not poll the different sports and more athletes kind of concerned me. How does boxing make it as the hardest sport? I'm not saying that it should not be in the top 10. But I don't know, because I'm sure are going to bring up, you're not having to deal with the bottom half.
Mm.
You're not having to deal with a lot of the things that you see in the UFC. And so that one really stood out to me and shocked me. Because I could think of so many sports, and we're going to list them, that are tougher than boxing. What if you are Mike Tyson? And I get it. You get to train hard and everything. But bro, you literally know that I am going to go all out for 2 rounds and I'm going to try to kill somebody and knock somebody out with my raw power. How much training does that really take?
I will say, to stay with your point, I'm just happy that it's a combat sport that is number one. Because I think, in my opinion at least, it should be a combat sport at number one. Now, to play a little devil's advocate, I personally don't think that combat sports is the toughest team sport to play. The individual practice of the sport, I think the combat sport is definitely it. But team sports, I don't think it's that. Which is interesting because the sport that I personally think, and now mind you, look, I never played this sport.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to do this sport. So it's not like, oh, he's a soccer kid. That's why he's going to say soccer, even though soccer we'll get to in a little bit. I personally think the hardest sport to play is hockey for a couple of things. Number one, you got to know how to skate.
True.
Which is difficult.
Yeah.
Number two, you got to have balance on the skates. Number three, you got to skate backwards and side to side and have balance.
So all 3 of your first list are just skating.
Right. Now we give you a stick and you got to do all that shit.
Yeah.
And then you have 45 to 90-second shifts that you're on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
It's very fast paced. Oh, and by the way, dudes are 190 to 225, full speed checking you into the boards. Oh, and by the way, also, you might have to box in that as well.
Yeah.
And there's a rubber puck, which is, I don't know, the size of a coffee lid, maybe a
They're
little bigger.
heavy.
It's also coming at you at 90 miles per hour on average.
Yep.
I think they said the average slap shot is like 93 miles per hour. And some of them get to like 110. So yeah, in my opinion, I think hockey is the most difficult. And I also think it's the most difficult because hockey and soccer, I think, are the only 2 sports, team sports now, that you have to play from a young age to be good at later on. You can't.
That makes sense.
You can't have no prior playing of hockey and soccer and at 13 years old go try out for the varsity team. You're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
You have to have started at like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Whereas, bro, I know mad people, and there's been pro athletes that didn't play football till they were juniors in high school, and now they're like in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Or they went D1, or they're in the NFL. And then you have dudes like, shit, I think Joel Embiid didn't play basketball until he was like 14, 15 years old. It's because he grew to like 6'8". He was a soccer kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's also really coordinated with his feet. We didn't even get into soccer yet, but it's like a lot of those dudes, they get really good because like your body develops differently. And that's how I feel about soccer and hockey. And in my opinion, hockey is the hardest sport to play.
Okay. Can I shock you with what I think is really the toughest sport? And I see what the classifications are that they're analyzing here. And I'm surprised that this one's at number 15. But bro, wrestling a steer in rodeo is insane.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, so
tell me.
You're on a horse.
Okay.
They shoot you out of a chute, and you have to rope a calf, jump off your horse, land on top of this calf, tackle it, and then tie it up in the fastest amount of time possible. It is a sport that involves 2 animals. The coordination that you need to be able to throw a rope and catch something that's moving, then to have the nuts to jump off a horse and tackle another animal. It's primitive. It's dangerous. I mean, there's a lot of things that can go wrong there. And in order to be a champion at that, you got to be really strong. Like there's no way you can't just jump. Imagine Troy Polamalu like timing up the snap, jumping over the line. That's what you got to do to a baby cow. Why is that one at 15? For example, lacrosse is ahead of that. Give me a break. Lacrosse should be so much further down on this list than what it is.
Lacrosse is another sport that
it's at 14.
You could pick up late.
Yeah.
That's what I also mean by my list. Like I need you. These are sports where it's something you can't pick up. And I'm talking about to get to a professional level.
Yeah. To get to a professional level, you got to grow up on a ranch.
Yeah.
If you want to be a professional.
I started training jiu-jitsu when I was 28. I can't be a pro MMA fighter.
True.
Just can't. I would have needed to have maybe catch wrestling, amateur wrestling background when I was in high school, college.
Got you.
At least for me, that's how I view it.
No, I think MMA, I think boxing is different because then you got like a Deontay Wilder situation where he gets into the game late.
There's also like
freaks of nature.
Yeah.
I get you.
Anomalies.
Yeah.
Where he won the bronze medal, I think like 18 months after training.
Correct. But that just goes to show that like,
how difficult is it?
This dude was working at UPS and then he wins a bronze medal 18 months later or gold medal.
Can I tell you? So the top 5 that they have, I kind of agree with, but I would put soccer in there too. My top 3 hardest sports.
Okay.
Hockey, soccer, the combination of combat sports.
Okay.
So like, let's just say MMA.
Which they didn't do on this list, and that's an issue.
Well, they put martial arts, but
like, then they put wrestling and boxing.
Right. When they say martial arts in this breakdown, is it karate? Like, what is it? Like,
breaking a fucking board.
We needed MMA. And look, man, I don't know who these people were on the panel, but there's a reason why it takes, I think, a decade to get your black belt. It's harder for you to get your black belt from like a good school.
Mm-hmm.
Like a legacy, having legacy behind it, than it is to get like a Ivy League degree.
True.
Takes longer.
You can't chat GPT that.
Yeah. That ain't helping you get out of a leg lock.
No.
And when I slap the doors on you, chat GPT ain't helping shit. You know what I'm saying?
It's like prompt unknown.
Yeah. It's LGs. Try again next round. So I think martial arts as a whole, mixed martial arts, because you got to know boxing, you got to know Muay Thai, you got to know wrestling, and you got to know jiu-jitsu. So you got to know 4 things in the one mixed martial art to be successful and good at.
Okay.
That's why I think for me, that's my 3rd.
I think, man, I'm trying not to have you sway me. I did shock you by the steer wrestling. I do think that's an underrated.
Yeah.
That I was thinking about bull riding, but then I'm like, you just really have to hold on. Like it takes coordination. So I got steer wrestling number 1. Number 2, I'm going to put football.
Okay.
I think football, out of every classification when you're talking about agility, speed, power, the analytical side of it, the endurance that you need, it's too violent of a game for most people. Because sure, yes, you can pick it up, but to put it, if we're ranking the professional levels, I think football is the smallest of small percentage of people that are, one, crazy enough to do it, but then talented enough. The pool is as pristine as we've ever seen it. Like when you think about the history of sports, the one sport that you see that has the best athletes, everyone always says football. Because everybody can say a football player can play all those other sports. You can't say the same about a lot of those other sports translating into football.
Yeah.
So I have steer wrestling, football.
Steer wrestling number 1?
Yeah, dude.
That's crazy, George.
Have you rode a horse?
No, I never have.
I mean, similar to fucking ice skate guy. Like you gotta be, and you're riding a horse at like 20 miles an hour, throwing a rope, and then tackling a baby cow.
I grew up in New York City. Of course, I didn't ride.
That's why you didn't golf either. That's what I'm realizing.
Yeah, dude. What about golf being 51st?
Whoa, no, it's not that low.
Yeah, it is.
Wait a second. Oh, 51st. I thought the list only went to 50. I thought it was off the list.
No.
No, that is crazy. But I can see why
So
they put it that low. Hold on, let me give you my third.
Get it. Sorry.
My third and final one is baseball. Okay. So
Okay,
the reason why I say baseball is because, one, hitting a baseball is one of the hardest things to do in all of sports. You got a ball.
Let me add to that.
Yes.
I think the act of hitting a baseball
Yes.
is the single most difficult thing in all of athletics.
Keep building my case. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It is. I mean, imagine Aroldis Chapman throwing a 105 mile an hour fastball and you having to guess the proper timing of where to put your bat
Yeah.
to make contact with it. And that's just one thing. Okay. The main reason why is, have you ever been in an outfield before?
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen a baseball field.
Yeah.
It's a lot of ground
Oh,
to
yeah.
cover. Lots of running around. It's not as lazy of a sport as many people think. And how quick you have to be plays a huge factor. There's no slow people in baseball. Like you're seeing people that can move around and
Probably
cover
got
a lot of
40 times.
that cover ground well and that are able to see a little white ball and wherever it goes,
Hand-eye coordination.
Okay, to even throw a baseball, extremely difficult. How about this? How about all the different analytical situations that can happen when certain runners are on certain bases? It's like a team running 100 different plays.
That's
in
where
football.
what was it? Analytic aptitude.
Yes.
That's where that probably comes into play.
I mean,
right?
you're thinking about every
hit the cutoff man because the ball is in center field and all
and
that
because
shit.
it's a 1 and 2 count and they have this person warming up, like the situations and the analysis that goes into baseball is severely underestimated. And then right after that, I would put UFC.
Okay, so I'm gonna push back because
Go ahead.
this is one of those. Have you ever had someone compliment you,
Yeah.
and then they compliment you again, and then a third time, and then you just know a but, or they're gonna say something that's just gonna pierce your heart?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of what I'm gonna do to baseball.
Oh, wow.
The act of hitting a baseball is the most difficult thing.
Yep.
In all the professional sports. But I don't think the sport of baseball is difficult.
I mean, you described half of the game.
Right. And it's also, I think, the most unique game because it's the only game where the ball is in the defense's hands.
Mm-hmm.
Like every other sport that we play, you generate offense and scoring with the ball in your hands, except for baseball.
Yep.
Because in baseball, I have the ball in my hands and I'm the pitcher. I'm preventing you from scoring.
Correct.
So it is unique. But bro, there's been games that I've gone to or games that I'll watch on TV that like the right fielder don't get a ball hit to him all game.
I get what you're saying as far as, but do you think that outfielder isn't playing every scenario in his head?
Oh, for sure. And you see them get into their stance and
go through the routine. Right. I'm not saying that from that aspect, right? And the fact that there are times where a player doesn't do anything in a game. Sure. I can see where that's tough. But you know what else is tough? Like a gapper being hit and you having to decide whether or not to dive for it or round around to throw the ball. You got these guys throwing hundreds of yards from the outfield to hit people and get them out at third if you're a right fielder. And those balls are flying at well over 90 miles an hour. Like imagine a Troy Tulowitzki shot hit up the third base line and the way that he would be able to close the gap and throw it 100 miles an hour. Like the parts of baseball where there is action I don't think it gets much tougher than that.
I will say that if you were to compile like the best of highlights, baseball highlights are pretty dope.
Yes.
When you get like old school Sports Center, like Baseball Tonight used to be my shit.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love Baseball Tonight.
John Kruk.
Bro, and Harold Reynolds.
Yep.
Like, bro, when they would show like the web gems and they would show like the hot corner, like that was sick. And
Hot corner.
And yo, baseball when the ball is in play,
Oh,
like a lot of cool shit could happen.
it happens so fast that your eyes miss it. And that's why watching it sometimes gets boring for people.
I mean, bro, that's why also like dudes and girls in the stands get smoked by foul balls sometimes because
my
they're on their
God.
phone and then they hear by the time they look, black eye incoming.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I think baseball, it's the act
Yeah.
of hitting. And you're right. Like that's probably 70% of the game is that,
Yeah.
not more.
So here's
I
just a
think
crazy
it's also like the standing around too.
Optically, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Optically, the endurance is the only thing, right? But it's all situational. It's a game that involves a lot of pausing. It's like chess. There's some games that are bang, 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 bang. They're like checkers. Baseball is definitely a slow it down. But when the ball is hit to you, you have to do a thing that is extremely hard to do.
Yeah. No, for sure, man. And look, there's a case for every sport, right? Like,
No, there's some sports. There's no case.
How do you feel about soccer?
For me, especially, I would grade soccer, I would say right after the UFC. Yeah. It's something that not being able to use half your body is
the
tough.
only sport you don't use your hands unless you're a goalie.
Mhm.
And I think that that's another sport that if I pass someone a ball with my foot and they have to control it, you can immediately tell if they've ever played soccer or not.
Yeah.
Like, no questions. And the thing about soccer, it's another sport where you have to play that at a young age in order for you to be successful. You're not going to find a kid that's 15 years old having never played soccer and then he makes his varsity team. It's not going to happen, bro.
It's true.
It's because it's now you got to be coordinated with your feet, controllable feet, passable
The
feet.
muscles that you grow at a young age, if you play soccer early, it's similar. Like just it's lower half muscles that you use for kicking. There was a kicking coach I had one time that like went in super detail about like the inner thigh muscles that you develop from just kicking. Because a lot of people, bro, I played soccer like recreationally. There was like a little pickup game a year and a half ago, or a year ago, literally a year ago to this day, and I've never been more sore the next day in my entire life.
Oh yeah.
Like Nick, I could not like walk up the stairs. I was that sore. And I at that moment in time was like, I respect it. Because when you see like, I was about to use Pulisic as an example, because he's crafty, bro. And the way that he navigates people, I'm like, how the hell do people do this? Like to be quick with it. But then I realized that they're smaller stature guys.
Right.
They fly around.
Yeah. I think like the average height of a soccer player is like 5'8".
Mbappe, though, built. He can go play just about any other sport.
Dude, Ronaldo is like 6'3".
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine like Ronaldo being a closer for like the Cardinals?
I can't imagine.
Just on the mound, just tough, tall, Randy Johnson looking type motherfucker.
So slim.
Yeah.
It's a sport that obviously the endurance is through the roof, right?
Yeah.
But I will say there is certain point, like Messi gets a lot of shit for walking on the field a lot. That's a part of like his aura and what makes him special too.
Really?
Like if you watch Messi, there's so many highlights of Messi just walking.
Mm.
Just walking. And then bam, quick sprint in front of the net.
What position's the hardest in soccer, in your opinion? Just so I can gauge it, because I'm a cash soccer fan. Is it a...
Can I tell you what I think the most important is?
Yeah.
The most important, I think, is the center midfielder. The guy in the heart of the middle of the field. Everything goes through him.
Got you.
He defends and facilitates.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also very biased. I was a center midfielder. But I do think, like, you'll hear it. So oftentimes in soccer, you'll hear, oh, this guy's a number 10. That means center midfielder, attacking midfielder, that position. This guy's a number 9. He's a center forward. This guy's a number 4. He's a defender, right? Like there's certain things where, like how you identify, like, oh, he's a 2 guard.
Got you.
Oh, he plays the 3. 3 and D guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stretch 4, shit like that. That's how I would compare it to soccer.
Okay.
So I would say like a center midfielder. But then again, like, yo, the scoring is important too, man. Like there's some people.
Those
that
are called strikers?
Strikers.
Got you.
There's some people that I used to play soccer with this kid, Peter Turos. Shouts to Petey. I would describe him when people would ask me how he would play. I'd be like, yo, he knows how to score goals. And you'd be like, you not knowing as a casual, you'd be like, yeah, it's an art.
Can I tell you how I felt now after playing a little recreational soccer? Because I literally did not play soccer at all in high school. PE, you know, I'd compete.
Yeah.
But like for me to be like, all right, I'm going to go out and try this out. The ability to manipulate your body around people and then to kick like an accurate shot.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm assuming he was able to do. Like
Yeah.
you find those tight windows where no matter what, the ball is going by the, like I would go to kick some of these goals and the ball would end up on the sideline, bro.
Yeah.
It'd be a side out.
You are an artist out there. When
Yeah.
you are a center forward in soccer, you might go 89 minutes having zero impact. You have that one opportunity, bam, like a defensive end in football.
Mhm.
Like how many defensive ends you're watching a game, you're like, yo, is Nick Bosa even playing? Where's TJ Watt been?
Right.
And then fourth quarter, game on the line, bam, strip sack, fumble, seals it, game over. 91st minute stoppage time, that one breakaway, that
Mhm.
one tap in, ball game. There's an art to it.
I'm for it. I'm 100% for it. There's it needs to do some work on the physicality part because soccer is physical, but I think the physicality is kind of worn down over the years in soccer.
Well, it has the stigma of being soft because of the flopping also, which again, that's also built into the game. People
but
hate
it's
hearing
still
that.
tough. Like
Yeah. Well, dude, you know what I do to some people sometimes? I'll just kick them in the calf. Or like I'll kick them in the shin.
yeah.
I'm like, yo, soccer players are soft. Why are they flopping? I'll just do it like
Doop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really light, you know, but you know, it's on the bone, it's shin. Like it hurts. You get hit in the ankle. You ever stub a toe?
Dude.
You ever stub a toe going to the bathroom at night?
I flop.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Ah,
Yeah.
it hurts.
Yellow card.
So, and I get it. Sometimes it's overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little too much, but it's also gamesmanship, man. You're winning 1-0. It's the 84th minute. That foul, you're gonna react different than if you were losing 1-0.
Yeah. I also like don't discount the fact that you've been running around for 84 minutes and like you need a break.
Boys
Like
get
in the-
tired.
Like in the NBA, I'm cool with it. Like in the NBA playoffs, there's nothing better than the game going for like 5 straight minutes and then a foul gets called and like Draymond lays on the ground for like 45 seconds. I'm cool with it. Like you're exhausted, bro.
Yeah.
So I don't blame him. I don't blame him necessarily for that.
Is there any sport that you think should be either higher or lower?
I'll hit you with water polo should be way higher.
Water polo is
Like damn near like suicide.
that's a tough one. Yeah.
You know how deep those pools are, right?
Yeah. They're
10 feet deep. There's no,
yeah. You're not like you're swimming the whole time.
and you're getting drowned. Like I don't understand who would want to do that. Just not on land. Because here's the thing: handball, amazing sport. I think we should honestly like play for Team USA in handball. I think we'd be pretty legit.
Handball was so popular in New York City. Like, bro,
It's a dope game.
it was like the sport. Like mad people play. And even like you go to New York City parks. I don't know about it now. I haven't been to New York City parks in a very long time, but I just remember growing up, like dudes used to hustle and play handball.
That's dope.
$20 a game. And just like there were dudes, they'd have the glove, they'd have the little ass handball.
Oh, wait. I think we're talking about 2 different handballs here.
What handball are you talking about?
Talking about the one where they throw the ball into the net.
No, I'm talking about the one off
Where
the
you
wall.
can run around. So that's why I connected it with water polo. Because water polo, you're throwing the ball around into the net. There's another.
Oh, you're talking about okay.
Yeah.
The handball you're talking about is dope. It's like indoor soccer, kind of.
Yeah. But you're
Yeah,
throwing the ball around.
yeah.
That's a dope game. I do know what you're talking about. Yeah, Venice Beach, where they're smacking the ball against the wall. I would call that wall ball.
That's called. I just Googled it now. It's called New York City handball.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
New
New York City cannot identify.
What street handball tournaments? Red Bull sponsored 2018. But do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So like, you have a whole wall in front of you, right?
Yeah. And they got the glove.
They got the glove, and you're basically playing,
like tennis,
off the wall.
Yeah.
And it has to clear a certain line, and
right.
Bro, that was. When I post this, I guarantee you, mad people that I grew up with,
be like,
a lot of New York City people will be like, yeah, bro, that shit was super popular.
Yeah.
Dudes used to get fleeced for like they play for Jordans. You play for mad shit, bro.
Pretty tough game. You got hand-eye coordination's got to be good. Side dexterity is good. So there's handball, and then there's tennis. Do you think tennis is too high on the list? Tennis is at 7.
Nah, I think tennis is
very hard.
Tennis is tough, man.
But you can't put tennis there and then put golf as low as you put golf.
Yeah, but tennis is way more athletic.
Okay.
You're going back and forth, side to side. Like, think about how explosive laterally Djokovic is.
I get it.
And then sometimes, bro, you're standing on your feet for 3 hours, 4 hours. Some of these sets back and forth. Like, it's also the explosiveness.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Like, yo, the thing that's crazy about tennis is when you're in your stance, right? And then all of a sudden you got to react to 140 miles per hour in either direction. Like that's tough, bro.
Yeah.
Tennis is tough. I'm fine with tennis being top 10. I'm fine with everything in the top 10. Now the order I think is a little wacky.
Gymnastics?
Dude, gymnastics is tough, bro.
Gymnastics is like I don't know, like glorified CrossFit type stuff. Like,
yo, you know what? Not a bad take. I kind of like it.
Like it's just
kind of like
let's just lift crazy. Let's just do things in a weird.
But a lot of gymnastics is also not like weights. It's kind of body shit.
It's body, yeah. It's flipping your body around.
Yeah, that's impressive.
But then it's like they would do the spins on the bar, right? So you got to be a little.
What's that thing like in old school? The rings, you know the rings.
Yes. Where they're holding themselves up, dude. Some Circus Soleil stuff. I feel
like my shoulder just blew out thinking about that.
Bro, gymnasts have crazy bodies. I'm not saying that like they aren't some of the best athletes in the world, but I'm just saying like, where did it go wrong for you? Was it just the ball? Like you didn't have hand-eye coordination? Like, cause all of those people, you're like, how did you end up doing the pommel horse?
Yeah.
You know, this is, I get it with the girls doing the dance floor routines, women's gymnastics, huge fan.
Mm.
But for some of these guys, I'm like, is this really like where your parents guided your efforts?
I mean, bro,
you could have been a killer safety.
Yeah. No, they probably just didn't have that physicality in it.
True.
Because like it's a physical sport, but it's not physical in the sense of
hitting other people.
You're not smashing into people.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, at what point did it go wrong? Did it never go wrong? And I'm just being an asshole.
Dude, I went to, I was playing indoor soccer one time. I was in high school, and the venue over to us was like a meet. And they were doing gymnastics routines. Bro, this girl, I don't know if she ended up getting paralyzed, but it looked like it. Because she did the grabbing on the pole, did like a whole stunt. And when I tell you, bro, did like 3 fucking flips in the air and landed just on the back, just like bare back. Like when you dive into a pool,
yeah,
like you're like that. And just didn't move for a significant amount of time. And then we had to go and play our game. But like, they put their bodies through some crazy shit too. And like,
yeah, it's
you
nuts.
see how they land sometimes, and I'm grabbing my knee. I'll see Simone Biles do some crazy shit. I'll be like, oh, she blew out her knee. And she's just like chilling.
Yeah.
Gymnastics is tough. I'm cool with gymnastics being there. Soccer should definitely be top 10. It is 10, I should say. But I think it should be higher. I'm cool with the list. Soccer definitely over baseball. And I think soccer should replace basketball.
Yeah, notice how we did not mention basketball. That's just, it's obviously a tough sport because people have tried to shoot a hoop before and dribbling isn't the easiest for everybody, but
you definitely got to be coordinated with that. You got to be coordinated with both hands also.
Yeah.
Hand-eye coordination to be able to shoot.
There's a lot more physicality in basketball that provides itself high on this list, but it's tough to beat out like hockey. Like it's not going to do that. It beat out soccer, which I agree with you.
Yeah.
Soccer is more difficult than basketball.
I just think it's with basketball, man. Like you need to, I should say, soccer and hockey. You need to play at a younger age to be good at it, or to be functional at it, bro.
Yeah. No, without a doubt. I'm
not saying that you could start playing basketball at 16 and go D1, but
if you're 6'9", anything's possible for basketball. Like it's definitely a lot of these sports where it's interesting. Like, and why I put baseball a lot higher on there is because everybody can play baseball. You've seen every body type play baseball. You can't say the same about a lot of other sports. Show me a 6'6" gymnast. Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
There's a couple of funnies that I wanted to make from this list. Rowing. Have you ever been out with a girl or maybe a friend and you have to row yourself, and the act of moving yourself in water? It's one of the most difficult things to do at a high speed.
Yeah. So
I'm shocked that things that involve high endurance like that made its way that low on the list. Like rowing is 39th. And then the other one is golf, dude. I think when people think of golf, you have to remember these people are walking 18 holes a day, 4 days in a row. Think about the way you feel after Disneyland, where you're like, oh my God, how many steps did I get in today? Look, honey, 25,000 steps. I can't imagine doing this again. Yeah, try every fucking weekend, 4 days in a row for 3 months in different parts of the country. And here's the thing, once you make it to the professional level, you don't have to carry your bags. But until then, you're carrying your bags. And it's not just a flat walk either. Golf courses give you everything.
Oh yeah, you go up some hills.
Dude, you got to fight your demons. Yeah, let me see what they gave endurance. Golf endurance, 3.25. That's one of the lowest that there is. That's 1 point above bowling. Give me a break, bro. Bowling, you don't have to move. Endurance. That's disgraceful. Look, that's like that dude. I'm going to pull up. That's Janet Starks. Her PhD. That's what she classified as endurance for golf, a 3.25. Gross.
Super gross, man. I got some from the Discord. Shout out to everyone in the Discord. Jordan says golf. Golf is definitely a sport. David Kawash says baseball, hockey, MMA, football, and can't decide on a fifth. MMA probably the hardest. You need to have a different type of physical and mental strength to make it. Yeah, I totally agree with that, man. That's why I said, in my opinion, the hardest sports are hockey and soccer for team traditional ball sports. The hardest sport is mixed martial arts. Because you can't just be good at one thing. It's not going to work. Again, anomalies like Alex Pereira, amazing at kickboxing and striking. Gets taken down by the random Greek dude in the UFC, took him down, stole around from him, and then he got a flying knee up the middle and slept him in Madison Square Garden. But you need to have a complete game or else you're going to be exposed.
Right.
So I agree with that. No Show Thomas says baseball, hockey, track, tennis, and cricket. Then he says, I didn't even think about MMA. Take cricket out, put MMA. Mark says golf, baseball, hockey, tennis, water polo.
There we go.
Got a water polo. Water polo, great shout. And then Laura says MMA, baseball, softball, volleyball, golf, and tennis.
All those people have never tried to rope a steer.
Rope a steer. I've
On a
never tried
horse.
to rope a steer on a horse.
The fact that they added that to the list, though, made me happy. Because that is a sport.
Yeah.
That's as raw as it gets, bro. Another thing, and I know we're getting out of here, surfing. If you don't start surfing at 5 years old, that's going to be a tough thing for you to just pick up and be like, really, like JKL, you know? And as far as like danger, right? Because I think danger was one of the classifications. Durability. Have you been like in a wave before? Like, have you gotten a wave that rolled over you and you like spun in the ocean? Or do you not swim in the ocean?
No, I do. I mean, bro, like I said, confirmed stud. I know how to swim.
Okay. There we go. That's what I needed to know there. But other than that,
Yes, to answer your question.
like the 75-foot waves you see off of Portugal, and these guys are just like,
Oh, yeah. That's
a jet ski's got to take you out to surf. How is and surfing's at like 15? No, surfing's way lower than that. Surfing's at 23. I don't know. It's a tough one to. They put field hockey over surfing.
yeah.
Let that sink in.
And look, man, all of this stuff is perspective too.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of people, man, I see it on a way, way lesser level when I bring friends to come train jujitsu, or even when we mess around. Like I'll go back home and, you know, we'll even be at the bar or something or whatever. We're at someone's house and just even like a neon belly, which people in jujitsu know what that is. Like neon belly. You're laying flat on your back. My knee is on your belly, neon belly. Try to get up. And I think like with fighting,
Yeah.
people just assume they know how to do it. So they think it's easy.
Yeah.
Nah, bro. It's different.
It's what the
I've never been.
The
I did
Romans
one.
would do.
I did one, and we'll
Sparring.
end with this. I've done one 5-minute round sparring session with my coach Hugh back in New York. I had shin pads, the whole nine. I've never been more tired. I'm talking about like all we did was the warm up and then that.
Yeah.
Like having to, I didn't know what I was doing. So I'm running around on my back foot. I'm throwing things to defend and he's throwing. So defending that, getting taken down and letting me get back up, getting on the ground, having a scramble. Yo, 1 5-minute round. I almost threw up. And he's like, now you have 60 seconds. Let's go again. I was like, I can't do it. He's like, no, let's go again. I was like, I can't do it. He's like, you're a bitch. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. No. That's where I
do
draw
a
the line, bro.
podcast for a living, bro. I know my boundaries and I
know
know
what you're
what I'm
talking
capable
about,
of.
too. Where
That was the hardest thing I think I've ever done in my
Your
life.
chest got tight. You got it was to the
My
point where
heart was beating here. This is where my heart was. And I felt like I could, if I was to like whatever,
yeah.
speak, my heart was going to explode out of my mouth. That's how tired I was.
I can't.
Yeah.
Dude.
And that was 1 5-minute round, bro.
Yeah. When I wrestled in high school, a sport that I will say I quit. I quit wrestling because, bro, it was 3 2-minute rounds. And after that, if you had to go into overtime, which I would have to do, the feeling of getting through that and just surviving. First of all, it's like you're not even worried about the match anymore. You're just like, am I going to live?
Yeah.
And that's how I knew I was a bad wrestler, because I was like, I would imagine a good wrestler is thinking about winning the match. For me, it was just like, I need to make it home. And then you do 4 of those in a day. How crazy is that? If you want to win if you're in a tournament and you want to win the championship. I know MMA works the same way for like the lower level.
Yeah.
Are we going to still get you into a tournament here soon?
For what?
MMA?
No way.
Come
That's
on.
crazy. Nah, I'm not doing that.
Whoa.
I'm
A
more,
jiu-jitsu.
I'm more
Okay.
open. I'm more open to a jiu-jitsu tournament. I think
that's
than
what I
ever
meant.
before.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. I'm not like tough enough.
Jiu-jitsu for sure. But yeah, I'm not. No, none of that. Bro, I respect the art too much to ever go disrespect.
So for you, it's not like, let me check it off my list. Like I got my walkout.
Nah, man. It's because I do it, bro. And I see people that want to do it and people that actually do it professionally. And I see what it takes.
I get you.
And I know that's going back to how we talked about before about self-awareness on an episode where I pride myself with being self-aware. I know what it takes. I don't have what it takes.
Right.
And I would never disrespect the art by trying to do a fight.
Yeah.
Like that. Nah.
Let's remember this episode for when we get a celebrity invitational. You're making it. And instead of a boxing match, it's jujitsu.
I would do like I would do jujitsu with another content creator for sure.
It's MMA. It's backyard. It's like backyard brawls.
Nah, I don't think I would.
Backyard brawls? That's low. That's not disrespecting the art. You're in somebody's backyard. Disrespecting the art would be like 6-week training camp. Everybody's like thinking you're going to live up to the moment. And then you just get slept round one.
Yeah.
Would you take a dive if you got hit pretty hard?
Nah.
Like once the moment came?
Nah, man, I don't know if I would want to. I don't know if I don't know if I would want to I don't know if I would want to like a lot of people hate on like Jake Paul and these guys that take these fights because they've been grinding and busting their ass to get to a position to get paid, and then these dudes just create a following and then they go in there, which, you know, like the time that you've been fighting and working towards being a fighter, they've kind of been doing it and building a career in the content space.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a weird dynamic to try to break down and understand.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to do that. I'm more open to doing a jiu-jitsu match than ever before. I think that'd be dope. It's like, why else am I really training for?
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool.
No, I think it's got to happen, dude.
Yeah.
We got to get you
I think it'd be fire. But I would want to do something where it's not just one match. Like I would want to do some shit where like a round robin of a bunch of podcasters that do jiu-jitsu.
Ooh. I think make the event.
That'd be fire, bro.
Make the event.
And you just do like, you kind of do, I'll come back with an idea because we got to wrap up.
Yeah.
But I think that would be something. But to actually fight, nah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
All right.
Just get slept on the internet. I'm good, bro.
So I legally can't say that you've accepted into fighting people, like if I just start proposing this to people.
No, don't. Definitely don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be like, Nick signed the contract. He signed the contract.
Send the contract, brother. Hey, man, let us know in the comments what you guys think are the hardest sports. Shout out to the members of the Discord from the Patreon that mentioned what they think and what they thought. Thank you all for listening. At Nick Day is Tenors. You can find me. All things Veterans Minimum or at Veterans Minimum. George, where can they find you?
At Mr. George Carmona. That is it. I think we are done.
We'll catch you guys next time.
We are done.
In his element, I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course be the venison.
Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be